Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino. The day after, I guess it's fair to say Mother Nature got us.
Yeah.
We escaped her last week, but, what was the old wimpy thing? I would have traded yesterday for 2 days last week.
I thought he was trading hamburgers.
He was. It was like, if you give me one today, I'll pay for two tomorrow. If you'd have given me yesterday, I'd have given you two last week, like Wednesday, Thursday. First off, the two races being canceled at about 11:45.
And they said cancels.
Postponed.
They always, and people.
They used the wrong word.
Misuse cancellation and postpone. They've been moved to
amongst
next
many words.
But they've been moved to next weekend.
So, that kind of, it was you could feel as if trouble was brewing as Frank Mirmati was going through the scratches
and came to
then
a
stopped
screeching halt for like 20 minutes.
And you're like, and it's funny because when you've done this as often as Seth and I have, or just come to the track, you're like, oh, something's happening. Yeah. Like what was that?
Well, the something happening was I kept thinking, has my picture frozen? And I would refresh the screen and it's not frozen.
Yeah. So, we went through that, and the track was, off all day, and that's just
it was a nice day, though. Actually, I mean, it turned
except
out,
for the course,
yeah.
That's just.
Again, it wasn't a downpour, but Friday night into Saturday morning, it was a steady, kind of a drizzle.
Now, did you have rain last night up here?
Yes.
Okay, because we had rain down in the Capital District. So, and I have been trying to hit our friends on X that are very reliable. So I don't know. When I tell you very reliable, as good as the sun coming up in the east. So maybe decisions haven't been made, but as we said yesterday, we sort of should imply every day. Hold on. This is the antithesis of Del Mar and Saratoga weather-wise could not be more stark.
Yeah, no.
Things just pop up here. Generationally, they don't pop up at Del Mar. It's just bizarre. So please stay tuned. I guess they refunded all the multi-race wages, right? Was that the idea? I mean, that's the way.
Numbers, but
it was 11:45 in the morning. I guess somewhere, windows are open, but we'll get through it. We'll have and not only that, wasn't and then the racetrack didn't seem to improve as much as I thought it would improve if we had no more stuff.
I'm handing it over to the professionals because they have a great crew here, and Glenn Kozak is one of the best and whatnot. But I couldn't figure it out. A race would end, they'd come over, harrow it, and then a few minutes later they would seal it again. And so I don't know what the thought process is there because there was some sun and a little breeze. It seemed like if you harrowed it, it would have dried out. Right. But again, I am clearly no expert on that, so I'm handing it all to them.
My niece got married yesterday, so I was in a, unenviable position. But I did find a little corner. I admit the test.
Wait. Let's unenviable position if you wanted to watch a few races, but you were at your niece's wedding, which was a happy.
Well, this is the venue we're talking about. So I was at the ritual when Ways and Means was getting her grade 1. We'll see how she goes one turn going forward. I think could be something special. So now,
listening to Chad in the winner's circle, that sounded like the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, you just, maybe. I mean, it's not as though she was non-competitive going 2 turns. Maybe she'll mature into that, but irrespective, she's an outstanding 3-year-old sprinter.
Yeah,
filly. So then, my brother and I hunkered down, and I was against National Treasure all day. I mean, my pick was awful bright future who wasn't. But my other thought of the day was, you ever heard the philosophical term Hobson's choice? The false appearance of there being a choice.
It sounds vaguely
it's kind
familiar.
of worked its way into the mainstream. I think there was actually a movie called Hobson's Choice. But my point was, yes, Mother Nature helped, but I think the race was won at the draw. And usually what that means is somebody got a good post, but somebody got a bad. Arthur's Ride got the bad one. But as I said yesterday morning, I thought it was a great one where, Junior, you just have to go. There's no choice here. There's a false sense of choices here, Junior. And I'll tell you, he went.
Yeah.
Because one of the good things about the outside horses at the 9 furlongs, they're right under your chin. You can see all the goings on. And he was like, I'm out of here. And he put up, now I will say this, and I try and say it almost all the time. When there's significant moisture in the racetrack, as there was yesterday, I compartmentalize the results. I compartmentalize the teletimer, all that stuff. But he put up racehorse internal fractions that many of us would like to see, and just punished everybody. And as I said yesterday, Seth, I could not remember the last time a horse shortened up for the Whitney, but he shortened up for the Whitney. And how often do you think, since the Beyer speed figures have been in the public domain, which is the spring of 91, 2-turn dirt races, somebody's put up back-to-back Beyers? Because what do you get, a 111? I think I saw 111. Am I wrong? It was a very busy day.
I saw it this morning.
It's a big number.
It was, yeah.
And rightfully so. I mean, he just ran them off their feet.
Yeah.
And nobody really had a chance. And National Treasure, who I didn't like at all, they came out with, he's not a mutter. Okay, that's fine. But, I think he would have been up against it if he was a mutter yesterday, because
110.
110. So that's what, a 114 followed by a 110.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Ways and Means 98, and Ferocious, who looked pretty good on the undercard, had a 96.
And the thing about Ferocious, also interesting, right? The other division was, a heady 84-ish or something. So both of them, went pretty good. But I've said this before, I'm not so sure I like 96s on debut.
Yeah, no, the big number.
I like 77 to 82, 84-ish.
Hold on.
I wish I could have it. I guess there is a data bank, and they could give it to us easily. I'd like to see a list of like the top, 200 Beyer speed figures on debut for juveniles.
And then the next.
Their career.
Oh, the whole career. Oh.
Well, is it reasonable to say,
yeah,
when the Kentucky Derby comes up for him, it might not really be a 98.
Yeah.
Arthur's Ride, 110 in a sterling performance. So I'm intrigued by that, but I could never get through the workload. I don't have the data, but it's unfortunate because the Whitney was coming up. I said to you, I think 3 days out, that I loved the race. It just looked great on paper. There was kind of like that Mount Everest idea, National Treasure, who I didn't like it also. There you go. But, Mother Nature got us yesterday. It's unfortunate.
And it's funny. It still happens every year. The August place to be. Official attendance 37,000, and it was clearly the best Saturday of the meet so far. As it was packed yesterday. And again, it has been a long time when it has not been just the August place. It's been the summer place to be, but still that calendar turns, and it is noticeable over there, and it was certainly yesterday.
And I'm probably actually, this is a rare time when I'm probably a good market study, even though I have a professional job now with this. It's like, it used to be so selfishly a great balance where, for me, having the whole month of July basically to do summer things as I was growing up through my teenage years and my middle 20s, it was fantastic. I loved the balance of the two. Now my summer is Saratoga Race Course, which I am very grateful for. But I have to tell you, I peek out the corner of my eye from time to time about things that I used to do in the summer. And Seth is the same way. Seth was, we've known each other 24 years. Seth was a main guy. You used to go up right just before it, just after it, and Probably
we had the
even
house
more
up
when
there,
you were
so-
younger. Yeah, they
So
had a house.
once Memorial Day swung around, I'd be
Yeah.
up there all through the month of June and July, and yeah.
Now, I will say this. This is probably the perfect place to be in your horse racing career, is almost still as a private citizen, because you get more Saratoga racing, and with the simplicity of watching the races while not on Union Avenue is so great. You know, you could be like anywhere and not miss anything. I could tell you, I give you a quick story about VCRs and things like that. Invariably, we go to usually Hyannisport for July 4th weekend, you know, as a bachelor and everything. So my one worry over that weekend would be that my VCR recorded thoroughbred action with Harvey Pack. So when I got back, because if it didn't, you were not seeing those races.
Well, horses and courses.
The stakes races, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, a part that I had great pride in doing probably the last, I don't know, 7 years, I think we did it. But that ran almost 32. Ever tell you a story first time I came across it?
No.
So it's 1984, and I'm at one of my closest friends' house. Young man, perpetually late. So I finally got to the point where, because I had my life insurance, I said, call me when you're 10 minutes away from walking out of the house and I'll come get you. I go to his house and be waiting. So we're at his house one night. So this is like the first Wednesday. We used to open on Wednesday. So the second Wednesday of the meet. And we got the OTV channel on for the overnights. And if you're old enough, you remember the data pages and, you know, how arcane that world was compared. Then all of a sudden at midnight, it goes off and a show comes on and it's stakes racing. And it was like, and I followed it, you know, ever since then. But I think that was the first one, had the wrap up of Sewell Gold burying Track Baron without even trying, when Cordero was just like looking over at John Couguet like, don't try very hard because I'm not trying. And he buried him. But that was, you know, I was like, oh my goodness. But oh yeah, please, I'd come back. I'd have to hope that because it was on Sports Channel. So I had to help the Met game didn't run long, or the Yankee game, because for a brief period of time, Sports Channel had both of them. Oh, that was it. And now you could be like at the Victoria Pool, dial it up, got it, make your notes, put the timer on 23 minutes, come back and go. So if you're a private citizen now, Saratoga's got to be magnificent.
Yeah, there's no
5 days a week, which is great for us. But
a
little, you know, we said it before. I mean, I said the Whitney and the Test are my two favorite races. You know, kudos to the winners, all that. But for me as a handicapper going forward, I put them in their own little box because of the racetrack, and I move on.
Yeah, and it was a, you know, other than the weather.
Is Arthur Rice's next race the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Well, it's hard to know these days. Certainly, everybody likes.
Not out of the realm of possibility, right? You run those two.
Chad said one more probably for Ways and Means, and then on to the.
Well, yes, because she's the beginning of August, so you're like, that's a real long time. Kudos.
Let me hit on the promos because not much to talk about here, but you still have a little bit.
It's Sunday.
Well, you have a little bit of time to put your name in for the Pick 3 bankroll. Again, first couple of weeks, we got everybody a little bit of money, and we're close to making it much more. Both of the days, we got to the last leg of a second Pick 3, and we're alive for some nice money and just couldn't get that second one. But we had a couple of plays, and the early ones hit both of the first 2 weeks. Last week I said when we came in on Wednesday, you know, I go back afterwards and take a look. I played differently, and there was no way. It was just stringing 3 together last Sunday for me was going to be tough. But we'll try to make a little dough for everybody this afternoon and knock it out of the park. And again, you have until about noontime for the Pick 3 bankroll. Go to capitalotv.com, look for that Pick 3 bankroll slate. Click on that, and then you'll find an entry form. And again, we'll close the entries. It's just about noontime today, and then randomly select today's Pick 3 bankroll team. Coming up top of the hour, loose on the lead with my partner Steve Bick. We will be joined today by Dave Grenig. We'll do a little recap of some of that weekend action with Dave from the Daily Racing Form. We'll also be joined by Bruce Levine, New York trainer, has one in for Roddy today that might be interesting. And then a little bit later on, David Hill, author, has written a the book The Vapors, which kind of covers the history of hot springs, which is very similar to the history of Saratoga with casinos and horse racing. And that book, very popular a couple of years ago, but he also regularly writes about horse racing and gambling in general, has a podcast. So David Hill in town, we'll have him on as well. Top of the hour, 10 o'clock, Loose on the Lead.
Still not getting any
I find it funny.
Twitter or X information about the turf, which is for us at 9:15 in the morning is the best we can do for our audience, because the New York Race Association will be later on in the morning, but very rare and quite honest. I mean, you'll probably get a good update with David because it'll be about an hour later, but you know, it's Mark Henning and Dave Grenning that, you know, usually are helping the handicappers. Andy's usually the third person on board, yes. But the Handicappers Report, well, you know, we're just gonna go at it. Are
we doing play, or we doing play live with Steve?
No, we got that. I'm just looking at. I mean, it's what's this, like 4 days in a row? It's been like the same morning for us. Yeah. You know, gray, overcast, and it's, you know, it seems like a pleasant day. And it's funny that, you know, like I know the picture perfect day, Chamber Commons, you know, bright sunshine, no skies, but you know, cloud cover isn't so bad when you're outside for like 5-6 hours. It's attractive to the body that we could go. But now time for the DePaula play of the day.
The race for savings is going on now at DePaula Chevrolet. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey everybody, Steve Beck back with you for the DePaula play of the day for Sunday. This course after Whitney Day, and going to wait until the 10th race. It's a claimer, 30,000 non-2 lifetime, and it's a slight and notable class drop for Officer Derek at 10-1. Horacio De Paz, second off a layoff, and actually ran a very good race at a higher level with Carmouche at Aqueduct in June. Has worked nicely since then, and at 10-1. A DePaula play of the day. Want to get this one around. We keep getting overwhelmed late. Let's make it to the wire with Officer Derek, the DePaula play of the day for Sunday. Good luck, everybody.
The race for savings is going on now at DePaula Chevrolet. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Handicappers Report. It's not the right number mathematically because of the Labor Day of racing, but, you know, the halfway point, kind of, you know, week 4 of an 8-week meet, but it is day 19 of racing. So we have 21. Wednesday is officially the halfway point, and it does fly by. I mean, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot more work for people that are behind the cameras than me, but it still flies by. Even as I get older, and it's, you know, you need more sleep and less partying or no partying. Did you go out last night? Whitney Day was always, other than Travers night, was always my favorite night to go out.
Last night I didn't, but I'm trying to think. Friday night, I went to the jockey basketball game Thursday night, but I thought I did. Oh, I had a mellow.
Oh, good.
Couple of drinks, or I had a beer with. And
you have to realize that people don't have to realize. I don't even have to care, but you know, mostly my bachelorhood days was the old 4-week meet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been married, thankfully, for the vast majority of the extended meet. But boy, Whitney, I mean, you can't know how exciting it used to be when it was so condensed. I mean, everybody recognized there was nothing to be missed because it was so brief. But we'll wax poetically someday when it's pouring rainy. You can barely hear us with the water hitting the tarp up above us. But to kick it off, 2-year-old fillies, maiden special weights, going 6.
5, 1, 3, and 7 up with Ragtime on top. You know, I normally with these kind of races, I'm looking at the breeding and whatnot. I don't know, nothing really jumped out to me here. But Ragtime for Bill Mott had a couple of nice works. Union Rags is okay with first-time starters. It's a Godolphin Bill Mott runner. You know, again, with some works that were okay. I slightly tilt here. Limes Don't Lie, going out for Michael Dubb, Chad Brown and Company, by McKinsey, who again had that weird stat just a week ago of a bunch of second place finishes, but no wins, with a limited about 10 first-time starters, 5 seconds, but subsequently has put some winners on the agenda, and McKinsey starting to live up to Win Early as a sire. So with Win Early connections, we'll put that one in the mix as well. And then First Class Lady going out for Steve Asmussen. Big price in the auction arena. Stone Street Bread, Uncle Mo, Lady Pauline. I'm going to be intrigued to see what this one does first time out of the box, but I have it 5, 1, 3, and 7.
8, they're all first-time starters. Good luck. So, nobody calls me. So I am 6, 1, 2, and if you've been around long enough, they're now called and have been for probably 25 years. Short Leaf Stable, which in the old days of winning classics was Lob Lolly. You have Cox's Ridge, Temperance Hill, Pine Bluff, Prairie Bayou. I mean, John Ed Anthony, I think the gentleman's name was, out in Arkansas, right? He was what are they called? Loggers?
Yeah.
No, is that what they're called?
Timberman?
When you own what?
Timberman?
Timberman makes more sense. Yeah, loggers would be the actual. Yeah, so had a tremendous run, really from about the 80s. Then things changed a little bit and they came back shorter. But a Malibu Moon, I was expecting some moisture to be left in the racetrack, and the workouts are certainly evidence to me. Some ability. We'll see. Luis Saez. Then I have Limes Don't Lie from the inside, Seth mentioned, and Lady Pippa. 8 starters. First week in August, but they're all making their career debut. It's kind of an anomaly that no one has started, but 6, 1, 2.
Stakes action in the second race, and Anthony earlier this week asked me if I'd looked at the race yet. I said no, and then he pointed out, talk about anomalies here. You talk about something you very rarely see, but I think David Aragona has nailed it. In the Bird Zone, it's a marathon 1 3/4 for $150,000, but there is currently on the scene King of the Marathoners next, 1 to 9 on the morning line.
I guess a quick thing on, you had Nick Zito on earlier, the Meet Your Racing Across America. And Birdstone, to me, had beautifully managed for Mary Lou Whitney by Nick. One of the most unique careers. Like, first off, it was brief, 9 races. I think Kevin Cox was the first person I heard term this a clean record, which I like, and I'm stealing and I'm using. He was 5 for 9, no seconds, no thirds. I think that's what Kevin meant by a clean record. So you're talking about a maiden, the Champagne, an Allowance, the Belmont, and the Travers.
And that's Birdstone wins. Belmont.
You could almost. I was there that day. It's like he lost the Hopeful, the Lanes End, the Derby, one of the most unique. I remember when he took, because I was talking about it last year with Arcangelo, when he took the Belmont.
I said to Nick
Travers,
when he was in here, in those days, that was not a thing.
Hard to imagine. That was 20 years ago. Birdstone. But so you see this race, and I'm just being a goofball. I mean, I've seen him lose before. I would like to, if I see David, I'm going to say, I wonder if this is his inaugural 1 to 9.
It wouldn't surprise me because that's something. 1 to 5 is still rare, but 1 to 9, yikes!
I'm trying to think. Manila, when he lost the Baruch, I'm trying to think what his morning line was that day. I had the program at home, one of the great upsets of the track. But and it's next. It's that old thing where his like worst buyer speed figure in the last 5 races is better than anyone else has run. In recent times. I mean, it goes to him. He's the horse to beat. They're not machines, though. Although this guy might be one. I mean, and I always thought, like, we don't run enough marathon racing, but there's so much time to settle and everything. You're like, upsetting here is the hard. But I took a shot, just, goofball shot. Time for Trouble, who would have to improve basically 20 body points, which is baby footish, but it doesn't happen too often. I'm just taking a shot that maybe today Next wakes up groggy like I did after the wedding. I don't know what to say, but here's Next. For for him personally, it's, there is a marathon race usually on the undercard of the Breeders' Cup. It's no longer a Breeders' Cup race, but tremendous. These are days of yore if you're not old enough, you have to be. Gold Cup was 2 miles. Aqueduct. They started at the 7 furlong pole and went around. Next is 1 to 9, and that is right price. And then Massacre Parade for third. But we'll see.
Yeah, and as you say, next just 2 for 2 this year. Won 3 out of 4 last year. Won this race decisively last year at 3 to 5. Then went on to the Greenwood Cup. That seems like probably the next stop this year. That's another one of those marathoners. Every year it comes up the end of September down at Parks. So again, I would think that would be the game plan. And as you say, the numbers are absolutely solid. They're 20 points better than the rest of these. But yeah, the jockey could fall off as well. Just weird things could happen. If I was looking for an upsetter, I thought Massacre Parade has shown some talent throughout the career. And last time was 4th behind Next. But, as I say, if things somehow went quirky, that's the one that intrigued me a little bit. I have it 5, 2, and 4.
Now, I will be, it's very infrequently I do this, but I will be looking at the mutual pools to get a feel for the percentage of the show money on Next. Is right? You got a show wager?
With 5, will there be show?
I believe so, right?
I'm not sure. 5 probably.
In the old days, no, but I think nowadays that's a yes. And I would have to think that the bridge jumpers have lined up for this for 3 days.
Well, now you have labeled my bet. I'm going at a couple of dollars to show and everybody else.
I think that's
in case something kooky
happens.
happens.
That's how you're supposed to play the game on a regular basis. I think that's it.
Whenever there's those minus show pools, I'll take a shot like that.
The other one.
When it scores, it's pretty good because you're going to get all 3 of them. You're going to get all 3 of the prices.
I'll give you the best one. I don't think this has ever happened in the history of the Eclipse Awards, but there was an Eclipse Award winner in the year that they won the award that paid about $60 to show.
I couldn't even guess.
And if I tell you the horse's name, you'd be like, that couldn't possibly happen. Because this is a name. Way up.
Oh, wow.
She paid about $50 to show in the Beldame when It's in the Air ran off the board.
I was going to say, when you said the name.
And not her preferred surface, but I think that happened in my high school years. On to the third, once around, Claimers 25.
6, 5, 8, and 4. I'm going to put Colloquy on top. Claim 2 back. Then they went into a state bred optional claimer. The company last time might have been a little too salty. I think getting back in for the tag a little less than the horse was claimed for, but I think we're getting back to the comfort zone for this one. So I'll put that one on top. I rather tease hops on board. Pit Boss in the second spot. Been facing a little bit lesser down at Parks, but has been doing so with a winning profile in the last couple of starts. So I think comes in good form. And again, this isn't a super strong field, so moving up the ladder, but I think will fit. And then in the third spot, we'll go outside to Boss, making Boss moves for Tom Morley. Comes in off a couple of sixth place finishes, bookending a 7th place finish. Again, it's another one where I think, looking at this particular field, I think is going to be okay in here. In the third, I have it 6, 5, 8, and 4.
I think this is an intriguing race here, mostly because of how the race unfolds. Talked about yesterday, obviously race people more focused on the Whitney, what Arthur's ride would or wouldn't do against National Treasure on a clear, fast racetrack. And I think the results would have been strikingly similar, folks. Here, I'm 2, 6, 5, and I'm wondering if Pit Boss, the 5, allows my runner, Tom Amos, second off the plane, with Tyler Gaffalione to go and have the lead, thinking that they can go get Kahala when they want. If I get a soft early part of the race, I like my chances at a big price with the deuce. I have Colloquy for second. I think will Now, here's my fear. They might not stop and come back. I mean, with front end speed, moisture on the racetrack, etc. So we could be up against it. And then pit boss, I'm going to be interested to see the tactics, the 5 versus the 2. I would not be comfortable letting the 2, get out there. Because I think from the inside, talked about it yesterday, from the outside, Arthur's Ride had to go. It's not as evident to me, but it would be to me. I'm going. I'm not getting pinned down. I'm going. And you saw that with National Treasure. He just, whether it was the mud or whatever, he never got a chance to run. He got bottled up right away from inside and etc.
Thank God I'm not on the 2, because if I was on the 2, you'd be in a speed duel. That would wipe it. It seems like every race this meet where my top pick has gone to the lead, some horse is right there pushing up, and it's like, oh, these 2 are done in the stretch.
I will say, anecdotally, Seth, I have seen some longer price horses really pressing pace setters.
There was one just a few days ago where I was like, oh my, the 30-1 shot was up there really pushing.
I think we're talking about one of the same races.
Like, oh, you're gonna
got your play of the day?
Wipe me out. Dark horse play of the day. Hit nicely yesterday. Hopefully you were on board. Uncaged yesterday. Looked good doing it too. So the dark horse play of the day scores on Saturday, Whitney Day. We'll see if we can go back-to-back today. I'm going to do a dark horse play of the day today in race number 6, State Bred Maiden Specials, going 6. I'm going to use Saratoga Snow. And I will admit, I couldn't let a Mike Deeney horse get by me, but I do like Saratoga Snow regardless. It's not Tampa, but I'm still going to jump on the Deeney horse here. There are a couple other horses that are interesting.
Is this one he owns?
Yes.
I saw that like 4 days ago. I go, my man is not letting this slide by.
Yeah. But Vekoma on top, that obviously is going to attract my attention. But the dam produced a runner you may be familiar with, because this one has won significantly just within recent weeks. Caldwell Loves Gold won the first 2 starts of the career, including a stake, and it was just a few weeks ago won the New York Oaks out at Finger Lakes. So a nice little New York bred sibling in Caldwell Loves Gold. Saratoga Snow with Vekoma on top and that sibling underneath, I think could be very live. Being Mike Deeney might get overlooked a little bit in here with some of the other connections. I mentioned earlier, Bruce Levine's going to be on later and has the horse for Roddy in here, Twirling Lulu, who I think could be intriguing as well. But for me, today's dark horse play of the day, we'll see if we can go back-to-back. Race number 6, horse number, I wrote the wrong number. Do correct. It's horse number 9, Saratoga Snow. So horse number 9, Saratoga Snow, in the 6th race. So again, dark horse play today. Race 6, horse 9, Saratoga Snow. Dark horse play today brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga, along with their sister store Impressions. So swing on by and enjoy some fun time in the store, just kind of browsing. You'll find something you like, I guarantee it, in downtown Saratoga. Thanks to them for their sponsorship of the Dark Horse Play of the Day.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, a pick 4.
4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the dark horse. Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Sunday morning, wrapping up another week. Seth Merrow and Anthony Mormino. On this Sunday, we will move on now to race number 4, Maiden Claimers, scheduled on the grass at a mile and 16th. And again, we haven't seen any updates on the turf surface at this point.
One of our close friends watching, teasing. One thing I want to note, I don't know if I mentioned it, but they put the rails down on the main turf course. We've obviously had lost turf racing much earlier than they ever have before, which of late the recent regime has been like Travers Week. And I've kind of said how, my thoughts on the timing, and we should have a higher percentage of races that many of us feel is that the timer has a better chance of being accurate. And they took it down like almost 3 weeks ahead of time, which I think is good. The rail's at 9 feet on the inner. We've already run on the hedge on the inner the week before, I believe. 11-2-8 in a wide open race. And as I said, I have got nothing, Seth. I don't know if you've got an update on Twitter about the turf racing season. I'm on the outside with John the Baptist, with Mark Henning, and I think we have a real chance. I think this is a case where Kendrick is, I don't know that there's much opportunity to go, so you're going to have to look to tuck over and hopefully get the 3-path, but we're probably going to be rewarded on the other side of the equation, where 8-1 in the morning line, I think we'll receive all of that. The 2 is my second pick, first time in on the tag, comes off of a synthetic race, and then Kick a Buck, 8-5 for Chad Brown. Very consistent runner. 8-5 on the morning line, first time in for a tag, 11-8.
Yeah, I went with Kick a Buck, 8-9, 3-2. Comes in with buyers that have a little edge on this bunch, and I think you now go maiden special weight to maiden claiming. I think this horse has the edge on the field. Vincita in the second spot for me, 10-1, may add a little value if you want to play some exactas. But I thought off the claim for Tom Morley, claimed away from Kenny McPeak. We'll see what Tom Morley can do with this runner, though. But I thought once you got past the top pick, I thought on the numbers, this one was right in the mix and a little bit interesting. And then Sugar Hook in the third spot, dropped in for a tag last time for Tommy Amos, and it didn't run well, but you have to make the note, that was an off-the-turfer. Getting back to the grass, this will be grass the first time for a tag, and I think that's going to make a notable difference for that one. Il Siciliano, I think, could also be a player for Antonio Sano, so I wouldn't toss that one out of the mix. Flicker for Christophe Clement. Your top pick, I think it's an interesting race. Once you get past the top pick, I think the top pick to me has a little bit of an edge in here. But I have it 8-9, 3-2.
I completely agree, and I think I'm almost anticipating the day races like that for horizontal players. Yeah. I'm like, holy cow! On to the 5th on the Mellon Turf Course, talking about the rails being down. Optional claimer starter allowance.
And again, if they do switch things up with
still
all or
seven.
No, I'm surprised there's nothing out there. If they do switch things up, you go to the one sheet. I have dirt picks on the one sheet on the website. So,
to tell you the truth, that kind of indicates to me, and I could be 180 degrees wrong, that they're
still the moving parts.
Yes, moving parts.
I mean, maybe they're waiting for jocks to go out and take a little walk on the course, and there's still some horses working. So
generally speaking, the audience, our casual fans, should know they do not want to take them off the turf. Yeah. I mean, there's too much advantages in multiple fields. So,
and yesterday, I will say, there was a lot of consternation on Twitter, but it was both ways. I go down with the people. After last summer, it was probably the right move. You want to keep everything. Because, there were some MTOs in there, and I'm not sure how fair that kind of a situation is to the folks who entered for the main track. But I think, again, given the situation last year, discretion is the better part of valor, and these races will come back next week. So that's where I came down at 6, 9, 4, and 11. Ooh. I'm going to put in our time on top. Safi Joseph runner now in the Safi Joseph barn. Won the debut effort, just missed against limited winners in the second start with a move to turf, and then tried turf sprint stakes race up here early in the meet and ran 6th, but okay. But notably, the buyers moved forward in all 3. Now, again, we always know the buyers on turf are maybe a little more questionable, but they are moving forward if you buy into them. So I'll put that one on top. Second spot, Tiffany Gold. First couple of starts of the career were nice wins, then tried a stakes race in the third start of the career. Still ran okay. I think is a solid fit in with this group. And Boss of All, 12-1 on the morning line for Linda Rice. I'm going to be interested if that price holds up. And I get it. Last race was a conditional claimer, but it was a pretty good effort. It's Linda Rice. I think this horse can play with this bunch. I have it 6, 9, 4, and 11.
The intriguing part for this race, in this race for me, Seth, is what the IRAD tax, as our close friend Brian Nadeau coined so eloquently, is on In Our Time. Because I think David has nailed the morning line. This is a competitive race. Should be the favorite, but 5-2 is what I coin as the exact right price. And we will see what the IRAD tax is going forward. Could be 7-5, and that's the wrong price. So it's IRAD. But I like In Our Time. I think it's, my one central fear is that the final betting price will indicate that this horse has a much higher probability of winning the race than they do. But North Springham, not this time. New Barn comes out of the Coronation Cup. Tiffany Gold, Seth's other, pick is, on the outside, might have an advantage being out there. And if the disparity, Seth, between In Our Time at 5-2 and Tiffany Gold was 3-1, which is, in my opinion, the right disparity, becomes 7-5, 9-2. Well, you're supposed to know which way Mormino's going. And then you should be dancing who draws the hedge, 6-9-2.
Race number 6 this afternoon. We're looking at state-bred maiden special 2-year-old fillies. They will travel 3/4 mile.
And speaking of Bruce Arene and Roddy and Mary Valenti owning Twirling Lulu, my top pick in here. I am 4. Did I send in the wrong ones? Am I on the wrong race?
No, they're way behind. Don't forget.
Oh, I forgot that. Yes, different situation today. But 4, 6, 3.
Now we should explain. I said they're way behind. The monitor we're looking at has a huge delay.
Yes, usually
the guys in the control room are on it. We're just watching something on a delay.
So this is a homebred, and I think they're live here on the day after. Number 6, Cynthian, first time starter for Tis the Law, going out for Bill Mata, homebred also. Then Boston's Finest for Chad Brown, 4, 6, 3. And I'm just making a quick look. Yes, another first. No, we have one horse has run. Okay, so 8 out of the 9 are firsters.
9, 3, 4, and 1 for me. This was my dark horse play today. Saratoga Snow, the sibling of Caldwell Loves Gold. Could be interesting in debut for Mike Deeney. Boston's Finest, sibling called Stress Reliever, 5th in debut, won the second start. Another sibling called Liban, second, then won the next 3. There's plenty of win early there, including obviously the sire Into Mischief. It's Chad Brown. I think Boston's Finest, very tough in here. And then, the Roddy Runner, I think is going to be an interesting player as well. The dam herself was second, and then first in the first 3 starts overall. Miss Hot Stones, 10 starts, couple of wins, 3 seconds, couple thirds. So she had a nice little career. I wouldn't be surprised if her offspring kind of lives up to that as well, with Twirling Candy on top. I have it 9, 3, 4, and 1.
Yes, I'm amazed on multiple fronts that we're going on. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, up to race number 7. 2-year-old fillies, maiden special weights, mile 16th on the turf.
5, 12, 9, and 10. I thought the 4 was a little bit interesting, too. Again, when I get down to the bottom of the mix, sometimes I can't parse out a few. And I toss out the thought just because if you use Love Tempo, you may be going, why didn't he have it in the mix? Well, I could have put Love Tempo somewhere in the bottom of the mix, just missed. But I put Chanico on top. Shug Trainee that had a sibling called Freeburn. Third in debut, then won a couple of seconds, then 2 more wins, then a second. So 3 wins and 3 seconds in the first 7 starts of the career. Munnings on top, says some win early. So Chanico, intriguing to me in the career debut. Going to go out to number 12. We're 2 deep, and that's about my limit. Once you get past 2 on the AE list, I don't like to really use them because then they need a lot of help. But 2 might get in. Firster by Constitution from Chad Brown. IRAD scheduled to ride potentially on the AE list, however. But again, should that one sneak in, didn't want to leave it out. Ballerina Dioro in the 3rd spot, another Chad runner. The Lone Racing sibling won its career debut, albeit going 6 furlongs on the dirt. That may bode well if this race does switch. They paid a decent amount of money for this horse at auction. So Ballerina Dioro, intriguing as well. 5, 12, 9, and 10.
2, 4, 10 for me. I'm down inside with All Night Revival, scheduled to make their career debut for Cherie DeVoe. John Velasquez takes them out on this 8-1 shot. For a second, Love Tempo. I don't know what to make of the career debut, except to say that I'm willing to give a complete another shot for this offspring of Churchill. Debuted down at Ellis Park. Comment reads tad slow. I'm just going to throw that out with Tyler Gaffione. I see David made this horse who was 9-2 on debut, 3-1 in this race. And She's a Swede, another horse who has run, debuted going 6th at Churchill Downs, now gets on the dirt, now gets over to the turf. In the main body, we're on the outside, 2, 4, 10.
Got 6 covered in there, so we'll see how that one plays out.
And that seems to be appropriate. I mean, it would be hard to be zeroed in on any of those. So as humorous as it seems, I think we've at least given the correct impression of the type of race it is.
Conveyed the information in an obtuse way, but as you say, correct. The 8th this afternoon.
You've been waiting all week to get obtuse, haven't you?
Actually, that just snapped into my head.
You know, it's funny. It's the only other time, besides when people talk about words I've heard it used, was in the Shawshank Redemption, right? I don't think I've ever heard it used. You're being awfully obtuse.
No.
And he gets through. You use that one? Yeah, besides talking about geometric angles?
I think so.
All right. Well, I think
that's not that much of a $10 word. I don't think so.
All right. Okay. I think it's a great word.
It is. 8th race this afternoon. Optional claimer, non-winners of 2 other than 3/4 of a mile.
And speaking of 8s, 8.62 for me on the outside. Steve Asmussen's runner. Good early speed coming in from Churchill Downs. Had want to make sure 3 starts. Was off from October to March, and I do consider that a layoff. We've had 3 starts, hitting the board without any wins. Chat-A-Lot is my top pick. The 8 for a second. The 6 going out for Bill Mott, exits the Dwyer. And for 3rd, Celestial Glaze. First off the claim for Rudy, who is white hot. And talk about times when
the bar graph for the last few days.
And for those that don't know, Rudy, to show you when you download stuff, 0 for 29 in the form when I downloaded this.
I have it in the 8, 7, 6, and 5, and put Chat-A-Lot on top for Steve Asmussen coming in from Churchill. Churchill runners have been doing okay. This one's been right in the mix, in good form. Drops back in for this tag this afternoon in this optional claimer. I think is an interesting player in here and live from the outside attack position. Implementation, when last seen at Saratoga, was a winner. The only time seen at Saratoga, but it was last August, right about this time. and was a nice winner. So returns and may appreciate the home cooking here. Safi Joseph going well, also coming in from Churchill Downs. And Bilal in the third spot for Belmont comes in off a nice stride down at Belmont last time at a mile. Led for a while before fading late. I think the cutback today, it was also the Dwyer, so gets into the more proper condition, but the cut back today will be beneficial. In the eighth, I have it 8, 7, 6, and 5, and not to go too far off topic, but you brought up Shawshank Redemption. I've never seen Let It Ride, but Shawshank Redemption is if you've never seen it, that's a very good movie with a great ending. The last 20 minutes of it is one of those great ending kind of sequences as it takes place in the prison, and then up in Maine, and then down in Mexico. So I would certainly
Why did you spoil the ending for the three people that haven't seen it?
I don't think that spoils the ending. I just said where the locations are, but it's definitely worth seeing.
I will say that I think this is true. I have never turned it off when I have come across it.
Oh, I did with the Godfather movies.
Godfather,
the
Jaws,
first two,
and the third one doesn't count.
Yeah, the third.
I think the Godfather movies 1 and 2. Third one doesn't count, as I said.
And I've seen them a million times.
Jaws,
but you're exactly
and
right.
Shawshank
And the funny thing about Shawshank, a new what we're being told from the control.
No.
Oh, yeah, that
stop.
would be yeah.
But
the funny thing about Shawshank Redemption is, I would say it's on TV like every 2 months at least. You're flipping the channels, and it's like
very findable,
super popular.
Let's say so. All right, well, we'll take a quick before we take a quick break. It was like Seth was referring to the bar graph. If I don't know if Excel spreadsheet existed in the 80s and I didn't have it, I don't think that it did, but Oscar Barrera would have been the epitome of the bar graph, but Rudy was the last straw impetus for me for going that route. And we don't have time today, but maybe on Wednesday or Thursday for, our new fans or something to watch, I'll talk about that. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the late Daily Double.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Time for the ninth race, which is the middle jewel of the 2-year-old Philly Stakes races. We're a little bit south of it. I never realized how large the Adirondack State Park is until they showed that commercial and showed like 5 other national state parks would fit in it.
Yeah. I have it 8, 4, 9, and 1. This is an intriguing race. I
concur.
Excited to see how it plays out, because I could point in different directions and make similar kind of cases for horses to get it done. But I went with White Sands. Wesley Ward, sprinter, started a career at Belterra and won convincingly, and then went to Prairie Meadows and went a little stakes race and faced the boys and won convincingly. I think she's legit. We'll find out more this afternoon, however. Dare to Breeze going out for Mark Casse. Career debut was okay. Benefited from that experience on the move to Saratoga. And again, Marquesi having a nice meet and a nice summer and put in a good win up here at Saratoga to break the maiden. Now it was in a restricted auction restricted race, maiden race, but boy, did it in fine fashion. And then the Queen's MG, who again, the big price on opening day in the Schuylerville after having been the beaten favorite in the Astoria, 2020 hindsight, that price was kind of crazy, but I wouldn't be shocked to see this one go back to back off a nice stakes win last time. And I'm going to be very intrigued to see what in the Literal, who won the Astoria, and then, obviously no chance with the jock falling off in the Schuylerville. She's talented. I will be excited to see what she can do. Hopefully it's a good effort. The rail doesn't necessarily help to intrigue me, but 8, 4, 9, and 1.
Do you think Mrs. John Magner was at Belterra for the debut? I suspect they bought in after the fact.
Probably.
Right. So with one of the great silks in the world appearing. Seth pointed, the Queen's MG could come right back. White Sands. I'm 7-2-3, just trying to find something. I had a feeling Dallas Stewart was going to, his juveniles would be okay. He had the first time winner, which he doesn't win. And I'm taking Anna Karina in here. Italian Soiree. I like the debut for John Terranova winning. And I like the fact that it wasn't one of those speed pop the field, dominate the middle part and win. I'm just, received a little education there. And then Atomic City, who did speed pop the field, dominate and win. That was going 6 on debut, 7-2-3.
We will wrap it up today on a Sunday afternoon at about a little after 6:15. Again, scheduled on the grass mile on the 16th. We're looking at conditional claimers in race number 10. How'd you see it?
And I think you last year said, is it in stone 619?
Oh, right. Okay. We're being told we're still on the turf, according to Dave Grant.
So I'm guessing our guys got it from Dave, who is probably a very young tweet. So it was held up. I pulled the Seth there. This is how wide open it is. I have 4 for you, folks. 5, 11, 7, 10. I know sometimes these walkout races are less appealing than stakes races. I have to tell you, I find this race more appealing for the stakes race, but mostly the stakes race because I'm lost. I think 8 horses could win it. And I think that's the case here, but this is going to be crazy. So I took Skillick Island, Pat Reynolds, a big price in here. I told you when I think races are wide open that you should go for a price. This horse won on debut, maiden claiming at Colonial. For second, I have the 11, Mr. Mendelssohn, won its maiden claiming 2 races back, tried much tougher and raced okay on the Belmont weekend. And then St. Joe Louis, who I think Seth, these are the final 2 at the bottom of, I think, losing 4 in a row at odds on. But I think those are the final 2. So 5, 11, 7 with the 10, who Seth has for second.
I have it 8, 10, 7, and 5. I thought the 4 was a little bit intriguing as well, King Freud. But I put Barry Funny on top. Goes out for Mike Maker, Luis Saez on board. Similar scenario and team for a third-place finish here early in the meet. I think that one bodes well for the perhaps a little bit of an improved performance today. I don't even know if the horse has to improve. I think the horse is right in the thick of things repeating that race. Nostalgic one for Todd Pletcher. Irad Ortiz on board. Broke the maiden for a 40 tag last time and did it with a number that fits with this bunch. And St. Joan Lewis in the 3rd spot for Mark Hennig, also coming off a nice try last time against fairly similar. In the 10th, 8, 10, 7, and 5.
Good luck just hitting the late daily double. A wide open Adirondack, in my opinion, and a extremely wide open 2L in the finale. We see your co-host is in the green room, so he stays. I go. It's a pleasant Sunday. Dave Grenning has tweeted out we're on the turf, which makes it an even better Sunday. I think an outstanding card of wagering. I had, excluding the next race, I have it wide open. It should be a heck of a lot of fun. Enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you back here Wednesday morning.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.